Junior.
Bonjour à tous, tout spécialement pour mes amis canadiens qui partagent avec moi le français comme langue maternelle. Okay, I understand that the conference today welcomes a number of people coming from overseas who may not be fluent in French, so therefore I will proceed with my second native language, which is a combination of French and English, which I like to call Franglish. On a more serious note, it's always a real pleasure for me to join the XBRL Canada community, and I'm grateful to Jerry Trice and XBRL Canada for inviting me to be part of this 4th annual XBRL Canada conference. Unfortunately, I cannot be with you in Toronto today due to commitments here in London. However, with the assistance of video technology, I would still like to provide you with a brief update on recent developments in IFRS with XBRL. For those of you who are not aware or familiar with International Financial Reporting Standards, it is the responsibility of the IFRS Foundation and its independent standard setter, the International Accounting Standards Board, to develop a single set of high-quality, understandable, enforceable, and globally accepted financial reporting standards. These standards are based upon clearly articulated principles, and they have been adopted in over 100 countries, where governments have recognized the importance of having a global set of standards as the world's economy is becoming increasingly integrated. The IFRS Foundation is proud to be a long-standing and active supporter of XBRL, and there has been an IFRS XBRL initiative here at the Foundation since 2001. Each year, the IFRS Foundation publishes the XBRL representation of the IFRSs in the form of the IFRS taxonomy. The current IFRS taxonomy is a set of about 2,100 XBRL tags that reflects IFRS disclosure. The current IFRS taxonomy is the 2010 version that was released in April this year. It is the first version of the IFRS taxonomy to be compliant with the developments of the ITA project, which is the Interoperable Taxonomy Architecture project. The ITA project is a joint initiative between the Financial Services Agency of Japan, the US Securities and Exchange Commission, and the IFRS Foundation. It is also observed by the European Commission. The objective of the ITA project is to provide a consistent taxonomy architecture for the US GAAP taxonomy, the Japanese ADNet taxonomy, and the IFRS taxonomy. To achieve this, the 3 development teams responsible for these taxonomies have been working together for about 2 years to align the frameworks of these 3 taxonomies together. The result of their efforts is that entities may now move from reporting in XBRL using one set of gaps to another set of gaps without the need for software updates. Given that entities reporting in IFRS, Japanese GAAP, and US GAAP collectively represent more than 85% of the worldwide market capitalization, this is a significant XBRL convergence effort. I should clarify that the efforts of the ITA project are XBRL focused and should not be confused with GAAP convergence and the alignment of accounting principles. However, although this work of XBRL alignment is separate to the IFRS Foundation's GAAP convergence efforts that are currently in progress with Japan and the US, this work is also complementary to this effort as it aims to remove the systemic differences and technical barriers that might obstruct convergence in accounting principles. Another key IFRS XBRL development this year has been the publication of the first interim release of the IFRS taxonomy. Historically, the IFRS Foundation has operated within a strictly annual taxonomy development cycle, where a single version of the IFRS taxonomy was released each year following the publication of the IFRS bound volume. Any new IFRSs published after the annual taxonomy release were not included in the taxonomy until the next taxonomy release in the following year. As a consequence, early adopters wishing to report using new IFRSs in the IFRS taxonomy had to either wait until the next taxonomy release or they had to create their own taxonomy items. However, this year, for the very first time, the Foundation has amended its annual development cycle by publishing an interim release, an extension, if you like, to the IFRS taxonomy, following the publication of a new IFRS. These interim releases are new, separate schemas which contain additional taxonomy items that reflect new IFRSs and improvements to IFRSs published by the ISB and that are not included in the core IFRS taxonomy schema. By publishing interim releases, the Foundation is supporting the early adoption of IFRSs by providing taxonomy items earlier, which eliminates the need for entities to create their own taxonomy items. The first IFRS taxonomy interim release was published in August this year for improvements to IFRS for the 2008-2010 project lifecycle. At least 2 more interim releases are scheduled to be published in 2010 for 2 new IFRSs. One is de-recognition disclosures and the other one is joint arrangements. From 2011, we will also aim to publish not only final IFRSs, but also exposure drafts as interim releases. In terms of adoption, there is an interesting parallel between the adoption of IFRSs and the adoption of XBRL. As I already have said, IFRSs are now permitted or required in over 120 countries, and XBRL adoption across the globe is growing at a similar rate. The IFRS taxonomy is currently being used as a base taxonomy in Australia, Chile, China, Israel, Korea, Singapore, South Africa, Spain, and the Netherlands. In Europe, the Committee of European Banking Supervisors, used CEBS, is extending the IFRS taxonomy for the FINREP taxonomy, which is the XBRL representation of the financial reporting framework. IFRS taxonomy is also being used on a global basis by the Microfinance Exchange Information for its microfinance taxonomy, which is intended to support reporting by the 1,400 microfinance institutions currently operating in over 100 countries around the world. However, in Europe, except for the CEBS initiative that I just mentioned, which is similar to the US Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation project, there has not really been a single centralized pan-European XBRL movement. A number of individual European countries have implemented XBRL reporting, but XBRL reporting on a pan-European basis has been largely restricted to banking supervision. However, the Committee of European Securities Regulators, the European equivalent to the US SEC, recently proposed a series of measures for developing pan-European access to financial information disclosed by listed entities. The purpose of these measures is to harmonize and enhance pan-European search facilities for financial information. And the measures include an investigation of the possible introduction of XBRL reporting. The committee will conduct a cost-benefit analysis on the use of XBRL using a scenario of a 5-year transition period for the introduction of mandatory IFRS and XBRL reporting for issuers preparing consolidated financial statements. If this initiative proceeds as expected, this would result in the implementation of XBRL reporting for all companies, including small and medium entities, within all 27 countries of the European Union. The impact, as you might guess, of this in Europe would be comparable to the impact of developments closer to home here in the US SEC mandate for the use of interactive data. XBRL filing by US public companies reporting in US GAAP has been effective since June 2009. According to the rule on interactive data to improve financial reporting, foreign private issuers who prepare the financial statements in IFRS will be required from 15 June 2011 to submit these filings in XBRL format. In order to assist foreign private issuers or FPIs with meeting the 15 June 2011 deadline, in April this year, the Foundation issued a call for interest to those companies listed in the US to take part in a pilot project to prepare US SEC filings in IFRS using the IFRS taxonomy 2010. The IFRS Foundation has since been working with a number of respondents to create sample 20F filings using the latest version of the IFRS taxonomy in accordance with US SEC and NPR filing requirements. A number of positive conclusions have been drawn as a result of this initiative, and the IFRS Foundation is currently using these as a basis to improve the taxonomy and other IFRS XBRL deliverables, including the possible identification and provision of taxonomy concepts reflecting non-IFRS reporting common practice. I'd like to end with a bit of shameless marketing and the announcement that the first joint IFRS Foundation and XBRL International event will be held here in London on March 29, 2011. Entitled the IFRS Taxonomy Annual Convention, it is a new and unique event which will bring together experts for the international financial reporting community, XBRL, and regulatory, who will examine IFRS and XBRL implementation. I hope that some of you will be able to attend, and in the meantime, I thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoy the rest of today's conference. Thank you.